Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Catan Tips with me, Iswan. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the top 5 mistakes that beginner players tend to make and how we can work to correct these mistakes and make you a better player so you can beat your friends and other people online. The first mistake some beginners make is being somewhat aimless in how they are trying to expand in the game. In this example, red initially cuts off orange to the brick port, which is fine, as stopping orange getting to the strong ore port is great, and that settlement will double up on their ore production. They then proceed to build towards the 5, 10, 9 wood ore spot up the top. In my opinion, I'd be trying to settle on the open settlement position down the bottom before trying to expand to my next spot, especially considering that in this game, black does not get brick and will be very hard for them to cut back to the 5, 10, 9. They then build further up to block orange again from getting on the 5, 10 or wood spot. They then build another road to stop black from taking the 5, 10, 9. So in this game, red has played 5 roads without building a settlement. What red needed to do was make a plan and stick to it and actually build some settlements to increase their production instead of focusing on trying to block or protect positions they wanted to take in the future. At this point, they disconnected and the bot took over, and to be honest, they were kind of playing like a bot anyway, so this didn't really make much of a difference to the game. We ended the game with this absolute monstrosity of a road network. In contrast, here is a game that I played with a bit more of a methodical approach. My first goal is to cut off blue with the free road I received from placing on the wood brick at the start of the game, and build on the brick port as this gets me more ore, more sheep, and a brick port for all the excess brick I produce from the 8 brick hex. My next goal is to build on the sheep port to make use of the excess sheep that I produce and increase my brick production for the brick port. My next goal is to build on the 4, 8, 3 sheep brick wheat spot to increase my sheep and brick for my ports. And finally, I build on the 10 wood as it is the only settlement position left that I am run 1 road away from. I end up winning this game in 48 turns due to my methodical expansion during the game. The pinnacle of road efficiency in Catan is a real thing of beauty. 3 roads, 3 settlements, in all of its glory, the tri-road settlement. Look how beautiful it is, just sitting there in all its efficient glory. If you want to become a master of Catan, you must become a master of the tri-road settlement. And do you know what is better than 1 tri-road settlement? 2 tri-road settlements. I just want to take a moment to admire the beautiful creation. Utilizing tri-road settlements is very important when you're playing a game with low wood and brick, as it allows you easy settlement positions without the need for building too many roads. The second mistake some beginners make is playing a strategy that relies far too heavily on ports. Ports are very important in winning Catan, however over-reliance on them is generally a weak strategy. In this game, red makes a move that makes every Catan player collectively die on the inside, placing right in the middle of a big ore cluster and then taking the ore port on their second placement on a single 10 wheat hex. This means that each road will essentially cost them 4 ore cards and each settlement will cost them 6 ore and 1 wheat. In this case, red definitely will not be taking longest road and will struggle to keep up with largest army race as they don't produce sheep. And as we have discussed before, it is very difficult to win games without taking longest road or largest army. At best, they can expect red to make 3 cities, and that's exactly what they end up with. In rare circumstances, however, a strategy that relies on ports can work. In this game, I am making the 7th settlement pick as orange, and I am predicting red will take the 6, 3, 12 wheat brick position to complement their strong all-wheat sheep first position. Looking at the board, I see that blue and red will most likely be battling for largest army, and I don't think I'll be able to keep up with them. I see that although green has high brick and high wood production, they don't have many very good expansion options, which will make it hard for them to take longest road if longest road gets beyond about 7 roads. So, in this game, I need to compete for longest road. The only spot left with decent ore is the 911 ore wood. However, if I place on the 911 ore wood, I will have no chance of taking road as I have bad expansion options and low wood and no brick production. However, if I place on the 5-10-8 wood sheep position, I will have very high sheep and high wood and access to both the sheep and wood port. I also will have the entire bottom of the board to myself to make a nice long road. I end up winning this game by taking longest road, so in this rare case a port strategy does work, but I had access to 2 ports and very high production of those 2 resources as well as a lot of expansion space and a solid plan. The third mistake beginner players tend to make is overvaluing wood and brick. Wood and brick are important to build roads and settlements. However, as the game progresses into the late game, generally the value of having wood and brick decreases, and the value of having ore and wheat increases, as players are looking to now build cities and buy development cards. In this game, blue and orange both choose high production positions, but both of them choose brick, wood, sheep spots. I would go as far to say as you should never under any circumstance choose a brick, wood, sheep position as your first settlement placement, as in the late game you need ore and wheat, and if you don't produce at least one of those resources yourself, you're in big trouble. Black and red managed to all but lock up all the good ore and wheat spots, leaving blue to take the 6 ore 2 wheat on the coast and orange to completely miss out, only managing a very weak 12 ore spot. In the end, orange made it to 7 points by taking longest road but never threatened to build a city, which is what they would have had to do if they wanted to get beyond 7 points. Blue managed to be very close the whole game as they could build cities with their 6 ore production. But they eventually lost the game on 8 points. The most staggering thing about this game is that blue had 127 resource income during this game. That is easily one of the highest resource incomes I've ever seen in a game, but as the saying goes, no wheat equals defeat. If you want to win more games in Catan, you have to shift your focus to prioritizing wheat and ore so you can build cities and buy development cards in the late game. The fourth tip is less a mistake and more an additional layer of strategy when playing the robber. Some people will say you should just block and steal from the player in the lead, and if you are in doubt about where to place the robber, this is great advice. However, if you want to be a little more cunning and useful with your robber placement, you should try and block the player who is going for the same win condition as you and steal from a player who has the resources you need. In the first example, I am playing as black and have identified that blue has strong development cards set up and will probably be going for largest army. I also have strong development cards set up and am going for largest army myself. So throughout the game, I block blue's 6 ore despite the fact that they are not in the lead according to the leaderboard. At the end of this game, blue was not able to play any night cards, which is exactly what I wanted. Blocking them from the ore early in the game slowed them from buying development cards and building cities, which allowed me to emerge as the dominant development card player in this game. In this second example, I am playing a heavy ore-wheat sheep strategy and see an opportunity to build a road, which is difficult for the ore-wheat sheep player. I really need a brick in this situation as I already have a wood in hand. I see that orange offers a trade offering brick for wood. I don't want to accept this trade because wood is almost as hard for me to get as brick is in this game. No one accepts the trade and orange buys a development card, leaving them with 2 cards in their hand. I know a 6 just rolled, giving them 2 bricks as they have a city on the 6 brick hex, and they did not build a road. So I know that both cards in their hand must be bricks. I decide to play my knight, and what do you know? I get a brick. The final mistake beginner players tend to make is pointing their roads inland from their initial settlement picks. It is very common to see beginner players take a decent settlement position and then see that there is a good position near them and aim their road towards that other good position. The thing is, another player is probably going to take that position and cut you off, meaning that you've wasted a valuable road at the start of the game. As a beginner, I would suggest to always point your road towards the coast, or if you pick a spot in the center ring of the board, point towards the desert or some low producing hexes that you think will be open when the game begins. In this example, red places on the 8-4-3 or brick wheat and points their road to the right towards the or wheat wood spot. However, it should be quite obvious that someone will be taking the 9-4-11 wheat or spot, as is the only or wheat spot left on the board, with their second position. Red also picks a spot in the middle of the board and points their road towards the 8 wheat. To get that spot, they would have to build 2 roads and a settlement before someone else cuts them off. With low brick production, that is no easy task. They should have pointed to the left towards the 6 wood with their first settlement and right towards the 11 sheep with their second settlement. Even though these spots are not as enticing, you can be fairly confident that they will be open for you when the game starts. In this example, playing as black, I place on the 5-10-9 up the top and point my road towards the coast with my first settlement. I place on the 6-3-12 with my second settlement and point my road towards the wood port. This is a little bit risky as green has strong road building and could cut me off by building roads back. However, them pointing their road inland shows me that they are very keen to get on that 5 brick spot. You have to take risks in Catan sometimes as long as you can justify them with logic and they end up paying off more often than they fail. In this game, I was able to build 3 roads and 3 settlements to take the win. If I'd pointed my road inland, I would not have been able to expand and build settlements so easily and almost certainly would have been cut off and lost the game. Alright, so that's our 5 points for the day. Let's have a quick recap of that. Number 1 was be efficient when building roads and have a plan about where you're going to build your roads and settlements. Number 2 is having a strategy that relies too heavily on ports is not generally advisable. Number 3, you should value ore and wheat more than wood and brick. 4, you don't always have to block and steal from the leading player when using the robber. And 5, pointing roads inland will most likely lead to you being cut off. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you got something out of this video. If you enjoyed the content, please leave me a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. Thank you.